Hello and welcome again to another episode of Battle Ready, where today we thought we'd talk about something that's been in the game for a while,
Second edition?
Yeah, probably, and whether or not it's a good thing, and that is
faction terrain.
Faction terrain. So Drake, on the what's your high level? What is your thoughts on faction terrain?
I think it is good for the game.
Okay, why do you think that?
Because it gives certain factions, like in lore, a lot of them have those things. Like Gits have the Loon Shrine; they have things lugging it around. I'm running out of examples. Ogres lug the pot around because they need to eat on the move.
Yeah. So for the battlefield and making your battlefield look cool, I think faction terrain is great. I think it looks really neat, and I think it can make it look like, we're invading Gits, and that's why their Loon Shrine's already here, right? Mm-hmm. Or we're invading whoever, and that's why their terrain's already there. I think it can look really cool. In fact, in a lot of the narrative battle plans, they actually say Defender sets up the terrain feature, but not the attacker, right? And I think that's cool. That gives a little bit of flavor to the battlefield that I really like. But I have to say I am way more negative on it for the game as a whole.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you why. So a couple reasons. First, I feel like, okay, it's 0 points to bring it in, right? So there's no reason not to bring it in.
It's the best.
Which means you just have to buy it. If you have that army, you just have to buy it. You have to get a Loon Shrine. You have to get a Maw Pot.
You could just sub something in.
Oh yeah, but you have to get something, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas Night Haunt, you don't have to get any terrain. You can just have Nautilus. It's cool. Then on the, I feel like it gates your battle traits, right? Because if you don't bring in this terrain feature, which costs you real money, but not points, then you don't get access to this thing that your army is based around, right? Like, Gloom Sight Kits is a great example. If you don't bring your shrine,
you lose half your battle traits.
You lose half your battle traits. All you have is the moon. The shrine at least gives you the ability to bring back units and stuff like that.
Is the shrine better than the moon because it does moon in a small radius and can do another thing?
I don't think it's... it might be a little bit better.
It might be better than the moon.
Might be, yeah. Moon, it's yeah. But all these different armies have that. And it's like, it's not necessary because there's armies that don't have one. Stormcast, Night Haunt, Caradron. They just get all their traits. They just get them. They're in your book, you get them.
They get them?
They get them. But other armies, Fire Slayers, Idoneth.
Wait, Idoneth have one?
Yeah, they've got a ship, broken ship. Lumineth. Lots of different ones. Slaanesh. All those guys, you need to bring this piece in. And then you have to, it's vulnerable to a rampage, right?
Yeah. Well, just hope your enemy army doesn't bring monsters.
Yes. And so, and that's a good one, especially for something like the Loon Shrine, because you might want it pretty far forward to help expand the radius of the moon. But if you see a monster, maybe it has to go.
If you have Seraphon.
Yeah, maybe it has to come back a little bit, right?
I had to put it back when we played.
I don't like that the traits are centered around something physical. And I also thought it was weird because by the time that second edition was over, they had pretty much established who had a terrain feature and who hadn't.
Yeah.
Lumineth, which came out late-ish in second edition, they got one.
What's their terrain feature?
It's an aqualith. It's a thing that's got water coming down. But like Sons of Behemoth, they didn't get one. As they refreshed all the factions from in 3.0, nobody got one. And for all of 3.0, almost, nobody got a new terrain feature. And I felt like, okay, we're sort of done with terrain features. In fact, I thought, I wonder if
they're cutting it.
They're going to cut them, and you can just use them as terrain, but they're not going to have special rules or special models or be worth points.
Now Gits only have one battle trait.
Well, yeah, but then what you do is you just do both. You say, oh, the Gits can. One of their traits is they get to res units that come from
the ground,
or off the battlefield. Oh yeah, that come from a nearby cave, or you can make any kind of thing and not have to tie it to a faction.
Sylvaneth is one of the biggest things. Whole game, their whole game is based on the Wildwood.
Yes,
and you need to buy like 8.
Not anymore. They changed the rules.
Yes.
Yeah, you only need like 1 or 2 now, because now what they do is they choose terrain features to make overgrown, and then they basically count as wildwoods.
Okay, because before you had to buy like 8 wildwoods.
Yeah, in
second and early third.
you had to buy a lot, but we didn't have to buy a lot because we don't have something.
Plus, we just have a whole bunch in our.
But at the end of third edition, after having not had any of these things for a long, long time, and a lot of rumors that the reason we hadn't gotten them was because
they're going to get cut.
They were made in China, and there was some kind of difficulty.
Schism.
Well, yeah, there's some kind of thing with China. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then at the very end of third, right when the last Dawnbringers book comes out, a new terrain feature for Slaves of Darkness.
We don't have it.
Oh, it just came out. Yeah, we don't have it yet. It doesn't even have. I'm not even going to worry about it for third. Let's see what it looks like in fourth, and then we'll figure it out. But yeah, I was sort of disappointed. I would really like to see them just equalize the armies, get all that junk out of here, and then you could still get it for your display, or if you want a cool thematic board, or if you want to show who's the attacker and who's the defender, right? So you could get it for all these cool narrative lore purposes. That would be really fun. But when it comes to the rules, when it comes to playing the game, that's not necessary. Now, I know in 4th edition, they've said that you can chop them down now.
You can bust them apart.
You can bust them apart. They can be attacked, which is good, because that means if you don't bring a monster, you can still take it down.
Which is nice.
Which is good. It means everybody has to be aware of their terrains, right? Because you can't just push them forward and say, hey, you got no monsters. I'm fine.
Although Skaven can just make more.
Yeah, I mean, and so can Sylvaneth, right? So there's different rules that apply to them.
There's things that can just make more.
But I like that's now a factor. That's now a consideration. You can do something with endless spells too. Not for whatever that's worth. Punch a purple sun in the face.
That would probably destroy your arm.
It might destroy the sun. But
But
yeah. So I think on the whole, I'm pretty negative on faction terrain. They're in the game, and they give you abilities, and apparently they're here to stay. They got all new rules in 4th, so we'll keep using them, keep getting them. But I would really like to see them I would like to have seen them on the same list with Bone Splitters and Beasts of Chaos.
No.
Just get them out of here.
One was the Herdstone.
That's true. The Herdstone is out.
Bing.
But I would just like to say, hey, look, it's a terrain piece.
Is it even
you just use it to make your tables, and it's all cool. But it doesn't have any rules. It's not any more rules. It could still be like impassable or cover or whatever, but it's not going to have special rules for your army.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. But you like having the terrain features?
I like having the terrain features. It adds a little layer.
It does. It does add a little layer.
Extra layer in the onion.
And I think it's I just think it makes a difficult balancing problem between people that have it and people that don't. Because then you're like, okay, well, some people's battle traits are always on. Your battle traits are on only as long as you control this, and it is something that can be killed.
Yeah.
And then your traits turn off. So does that make those traits weaker, and therefore your units get like a point discount? I don't know. It's an interesting balancing question.
One thing I might want to see is if you just control the terrain feature with controlling terrain feature rules, it doesn't work anymore because you're actively controlling it and stopping it from making things.
Yeah, maybe I could see that.
You're actively poking spears through the hole in the gate, saying like, no one's coming out.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd be an interesting way to go about it. All right. Well, let us know in the comments below what you think in terms of faction terrain. Do you just absolutely love it, or is it more of a pain? This has been another episode of Battle Ready. Thanks so much for watching.